Let's go. Let's go. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and kick off the AK Roundtable meeting. It is presently, believe it or not, can you believe it's October 9th already, 2024? It is Wednesday, and we are going to kick this meeting off. I'm excited to be here with you all. And before we actually kick this meeting off, I'd like to just, if we can just take 30 seconds in silence just to pray a little bit for just the people of Florida and everyone that's been affected through these storms. If we can just take a moment of silence and just really think and pray deep. If pray however you want, but let's just think about that for a moment, please, and pay that forward to all those people that are struggling and suffering right now. Yeah, it's not easy times, man. Life's filled with adversity and challenge, and it's, I'm standing here right now, coming into this roundtable, just feeling so blessed to have the life that I have right now, and I'm not going through that hardship. And the only thing that I can do is really do my best to help. And when I think of what's going on right now, and I start to see like our good friends at Anthony's Asphalt, and I'm looking here, this is a post right here that just goes to show the community that we have built in this industry. It's, Anthony's Asphalt, he writes, "We'll be right back. We have work to finish this season, yes, but we couldn't stay put and do nothing to help when so many people are struggling. Our team is currently in North Carolina helping with relief and cleanup. Back to schedule next week." But that's a pretty, Danny lived out, you know Anthony, and you know how he operates, that guy. And that's a pure example of a guy that's going, above and beyond to literally take his team that is on, getting paid, and he's literally moving his team from Michigan all the way down there with his trucks and crews to go help people. Man, if the world had more of that, we'd be in a lot better place. And I think that that's really, there's a great leader. His name is John Maxwell. And that's actually Anthony and Stephanie are working very closely with John Maxwell and in moving in the direction of servant leadership. And that just is a classic example of them, going to a church to dig it out and bringing light back to the communities. And I think that deserves a share for sure. So if you guys are on Facebook and you can get on Anthony's Asphalt and share that out just to show an example of just a great company that's paying it forward, that would be really appreciated by everyone who's on this meeting. That's something that I think is really special. And so Anthony and Stephanie, if you see this and your whole crew, congratulations and thank you on serving as a great leader. Really special stuff. And I think that that's such a good takeaway for us as well. Coming into the roundtable, yeah, we're coming in here to learn about the asphalt industry and the pavement management solutions business. But at the same time, I think it's so important that, we actually continue to work on becoming the best versions of ourselves. The world needs us. It really does. And communities need us. There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of people that are literally just kind of in this hypnosis state right now. And it's all you can do is all you can do at the end of the day. But the question is, what is everything that you're doing right now to make this world a better place, right? And I think that that's a really important thing. So I'll leave you with that to kick the meeting off. I appreciate you guys hearing me on that. I've got to express myself. I've got to communicate, and I hope you guys all can do the same thing on here in the communities, within your companies, within your family, your friends, and just make this world a better place. Work hard on that. All right. Okay, down at the very bottom, you have a reactions on a completely different note. You've got your reset reactions buttons down at the bottom to raise your hand, send any kind of little reactions that you'd like to. You've got the chat functionality as well that's down at the bottom. That chat functionality allows you to communicate individually. You can select someone on the drop-down menu if you want to chat with them directly, or you can chat with everyone publicly. If you're going to say anything kind of funny about me, feel free to do that publicly, no problem. Wink, wink. No, I'm all cool. We're all here to bring great energy and to build each other up. So feel free to use that chat window. And then at the very top right of your screen, you'll see there's 3 little dots or next to your name, and you can actually. You'll see my name. I put Judd and then Judd at Asphalt Kingdom. I put my email address up there because anyone who's on the roundtable is welcome to reach out to me directly. And if you ever want to set a quick meeting to chat about where you are in your life, in your journey with business, or anything that I can ever help you with, I always do my very best to pay it forward. My schedule does get busy, but there are always slots that are available. I try to keep my business days within the range of 5 p.m. Eastern, so I can go spend time with my children and my wife in the evenings, and then weekends I try to disconnect quite a bit. But again, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here to see what I can do to help you. And in addition to that, if you change your name with your email address as well, one of the things that happens on the roundtable here quite often is that you guys end up networking. And I've seen, like, for example, there's a $40,000 job that Skylar's actually going to execute on for someone that attends the roundtable often, and they've built a friendship, and it looks like there's going to be quite a bit of business between those two people. And so it would be really cool if you guys, as you're going through this meeting and people speak or you're communicating, finding out where people are from, that you guys are able to actually network. Because at the end of the day, I'll just shoot this on the board, we're all building marketing and sales companies ultimately that will provide pavement solutions one way or another, whether it's seal coating, crack repair, or whatever it is. And you may not be able to perform on all your projects from a service standpoint, but also in neighboring states. You might get leads in across the country at some points, right? And having some key people to help you execute on those projects is something really special. So make sure that you're building your network strong, not just in the pavement niche, but also moving into, could be commercial roofing and residential roofing, concrete pressure washing, painting, and having those key people that you work with is a really powerful thing. Your pipeline could load up on your own services that you're providing, but your referral fees that you'll get paid in for those leads that you distribute to your performance partners can really be sexy to your bank account. So don't not build that list of trusted partners. Great stuff. Well, let's I know that Chad, you had kicked this off with a win already. So you're literally going from this residential market into a commercial market. You're up in Canada, you're moving into the fall time. Of course, winter is going to fly. So why don't you share a little bit about, what your journey has been, Chad, and where you are right now, man, and how you're transforming your business into a larger scaled company in a short period of time.
Absolutely, Judd. 2 years ago, I spoke with Judd, and we were on Messenger, and we had a conversation, and I was talking about equipment. I had no work. I didn't have nothing. And I was willing to spend all this money on equipment. And Judd says to me, he goes, why don't we just pull the trigger on it? And I was like, okay, Judd, give me a couple weeks. I'll think about it. So we had another conversation. So I ended up pulling the trigger. And Judd said, pull the trigger. Let's pull the trigger. I pulled the trigger. I went through my first year making 10 grand. I went through my second year, which is just passed, making 18, almost $20,000. And let me tell you, folks, soon as my season ended, I went right into sales and started promoting commercial properties. Well, I landed one commercial property for a little over $10,000. And the second commercial property is a little over $15,000. But the big kicker off on this is the second job that I have, the owner that owns the company has 2 driveways, his mother's and his own. And they're huge. He's a millionaire, then some. And what I found very fascinating in my journey so far of sales this year is if you surround yourself with the right people and know what you're talking about, know what you're doing, and you're learning off Judd and watching his videos like I have. I watch them all the time. What can I do better? What can I do better? I will tell you, out of an experience of 2 years, you will go far. My third year, my goal is hitting $400,000. That's my goal. But I'm going to pump out quotes to $600,000 and then plus then. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully I hit it. But if not, we'll try the next year. You just got to keep pushing forward, pushing forward. You get the naysayers that say, you know what, you're not going to do it. You're in the wrong industry. I have a lot of those. I've had people put me down, kick me to the curb, the whole 9 yards. And I've stayed strong. And I've said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to prove them wrong. And here I am still going. And I had 10 residential driveways to redo because they were messed up. And I did that out of pocket and I'm still surviving. So that's my story. Like, believe in your heart you can do it. Because if you don't have anything. You have to believe what you're doing is honest and true to yourself.
Chad, I love everything that you're saying and everything that's transforming in your life. It's a really special thing to go from, I know a little bit about your story, right? And to go from where you were to where you are now, it's a really special thing that has unfolded for your life, and to build towards a dream that is to build a life that you really desire is so incredible, man. And one of the books that I would recommend, go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, well, Judd, I don't know if you know the whole story about my life. I told Rob, my mentor, and on every job I've landed so far for next year, Rob's involved, my mentor.
How cool is that?
It goes to show you that 1 month of coaching that I spent $3,000 on paid off because I paid attention, right? But like I said to Rob, I said, it's not every day you get a guy that's homeless, fucking drug addict, and then he turns around and says, oh, I want to start this asphalt sealing company. That's the life I come from. I was homeless for 10 years. I got into crystal meth. I've been clean out of crystal meth 4 years. And I've been not homeless for 8 years. So that's my whole life. And plus, I'm a widow at the age of 32. I was a widow. So I've had a hard life, but I'm building a life that my wife would want me to have. You know what I mean?
It's a life that your wife would love to have, but it's the life that you knew was on the other side of that mirror as a reflection, right? There were times that you were going through that hardship where you were looking in the mirror at yourself and you could barely look in the mirror. And now today you look in the mirror and you're looking deeper into your eyes and you believe in yourself. And, you're Chad, I just tell you, man, you've got so much life
it's
left
the life
to live,
I
right?
desire.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want it. You desire it, brother. And that's the difference.
Well, I'm 52 years old. Everybody on here, I'm 52 years old. I'm doing it. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Like I met Alex. He said, let's do it. Let's get it.
Yeah.
And he's a super duper guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about Alex Lucic? Are you talking about Alex Lucic, Black and Yellow Pavement? Yeah.
Yes. Unicity.
Yeah, he's built his business. Just to give you a little bit of context about Alex Lucic too. Alex Lucic was sitting on his mother's couch in the basement, playing online poker, literally no money left in his pocket, drinking, one hand over his eye. He wasn't sure exactly where to go. And he found one of the videos online, and then he bought a small, completely trashed pickup truck that his parents helped him buy. And then he bought one of the AK-130 small seal coat rigs from us. He's up in Canada in Toronto. And this is going back about 8 years ago. And today he's got a fleet of trucks, 8 trucks. He's got a big bulk tank. He has a Audi R8 supercar, a Lamborghini. He's bought his house. He's transformed his whole life from literally nothing on his mother's couch, didn't know where he was going. And so, Chad, these stories, like these actual stories, these are not, faux stories that exist for anyone that watches this recording, and anyone on here. Like, you guys all have your own story, right? Like, we all have our own stories. And Chad, I gotta say, man, like, your story is absolutely inspirational. If I was there, I'd give you a big hug, man. Congratulations. You're just getting started, man. This is the second half now, right? So
Hey,
there
Judd,
you go.
and what did I start off with? An AK-130, buddy, and I still
Same
got
thing.
it, and it
Yeah.
still works like a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just gonna crush it. 2025 is gonna be my fucking year. And I told Alex the same thing. It's my year, buddy. It's my year. And he just keeps telling me, crush it, bud, crush it, crush it. And I just keep going out every day and I keep door knocking the whole 9 yards.
Let's go.
And I'm super stoked. Like, I want the life that he has, and I'm going to get it sooner or later. I might be
Well,
65, but I'm going to get it.
brother, you want to know something? And just, the financial success in a business is only a fraction of what true happiness is, right? Money allows you to get more things that are the material things and to be able to experience things that are really cool. But the reality of it is you can't be an addict. You can't be homeless. You can't look at yourself and feel shitty about yourself. You've got to stand up, pull your shoulders back. You've got to get your exercise in, get your diet right, and really take care of yourself to become a superhuman as much as you possibly can so that you can live the next half of your life till you're 104 living like a superstar. And that's what you're going to do. So yes, financial success is one of the spokes on the wheels. I
Yeah.
strongly urge that you read this book. If you can, take this note down, Chad, if you can, and anyone else
Yeah.
that wants to read it.
Just give me a quick sec. I got a pen here.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just,
What is it, Judd?
so I'm going to give it to you right now. Born to Win, Zig Ziglar.
Born to
Born
Win.
to Win, Zig Ziglar. It's badass, guys. It's a really fantastic book, and it talks about the 5 spokes on the wheel, and it is so great. Really worth listening to. And so, Chad, what you just said right there is one of the spokes. Let's fill the other spokes and let's keep a wheel that's nice and rounded and balanced, a big, smooth wheel as much as we can, because you don't want one spoke sticking out past another spoke that's real short. The wheel gets pretty wobbly. And one of the things I think, Chad, and for everyone on here, and then let's feel free to open up conversation. This is really inspiring, Chad. So where you just went, and for everyone who's in business here, and certainly in our business, we're doing what we're understanding is that if we don't have the processes and systems truly defined and a clear understanding of what our revenue roadmaps are with our gross profits attached to it from a goal perspective, and if we don't have those processes and systems that are teed up and tuned as part of that, then our people will never have clarity on what they really need to be doing to achieve the results that we desire. And so processes and systems and people, when you have those two things married, you end up in a place where you have a business that starts to build what's called enterprise value. You start to have something that becomes more of an arc that can weather the storms, right? And so, or we could use another analogy, which is like you have a freight train that's built up to momentum. We have this machine that's going and we've got this momentum. And if a small brick wall ends up in front of it, what does the train do when it's up to speed? It just blows through it. But if we don't get this business moving from a processes and systems perspective to the level that we need, then we may find that we're doing a lot of what's called the intensive customer acquisition up front, a lot of hard work at the beginning, rather than focusing on a machine that builds lifetime value for your business. And so we think about that and we say, okay, well, what are some of the things that we could be doing in our business so we don't have to work as hard consistently on new customer acquisition? What if we had the ability, this is some golden nuggets right here. What if we had the ability to be able to create a caliber or a category of enterprise clients that are called accounts, that have multiple properties attached to the account? So hypothetically speaking, let's say that we found a property management company that was named whatever it is, property management company. And what if they had 26 properties attached to that account that they were responsible for? And what if you had the pavement asset management solutions that you could help them with to do the crack sealing, seal coating, and striping? I want us to think about that a little bit. What storage facilities What prisons are privately owned that could have multiple prisons attached to the company that is privately owned, just leased to the government? And so we think about private airports, we think about golf courses, we think about all of these different accounts that could be the opportunities. And so what happens is we start to create prospect lists of those kind of accounts. By the way, this is golden, what I'm talking to you guys about. Like, we teach this in the sales power stacks. This is what I'm going to give you something right now that you have to not forget. Go after the account-based selling. But what you need to do is develop the prospect list first. And so that prospect list first are people that you know, people that your people know, and then cold call. So you want to make sure that you're building a prospect list based upon the people that you actually know first, so that you could then work that hot list of people. Once you've gone through the people that you know, then you can start to move into the people that your people know, because referrals are the next best thing on the list. And then, and only then, go after the cold calling afterwards, because cold calling, yeah, it's great. I love to cold call, but the reality of it is it's the hardest. It's going to have the least chance of conversion. And a lot of the time, based upon your phone contact list that you have on your smartphones right now, you have more people that you know than you could ever manage. Like, you've got so many people that you know, and then the people that your people know, what if they gave you 3 referrals each? What does that turn into? You got 100 contacts that turn into now 300 on your prospect list. Well, now what if you actually went out to them and you had a proper value proposition that was going out to them? Not something like, hey, do you know anybody that could seal coat parking lots for? But do you know anybody with a commercial parking lot? Yes, great. We'll send that over. It's not, you're not going to sell services yet, right?
Close that door.
You can't just shove sales down people's throat out of the gate. What we need to do is we need to come up with a prospect list with a value proposition that truly is allowing us to uncover what it is that the pain points are of each one of those prospects, so that we can solve their pain, over deliver on the value, and come up with a custom tailored proposal that gets them across the finish line to build a lifelong account for your business. Because again, the enterprise value of your organization is not based upon costly customer acquisition on the front edge. Your enterprise value is how much repeat business are you getting with your business. If your lifetime value is 4x the original job that you do, and you can get 4x out of that, if you can turn 2,000 to 8,000 or 8,000 to 32,000, if you were ever to sell your company, these are the questions that a PE firm or anyone else, if I was buying your company, I would be asking you. I would say, show me your customer database. I want to see how organized it is. I want to see the cadence of your communications. I want to see the integrity of your pipelines. I want to see the difference that makes the difference with your intellectual property as it relates to your automated workflows and communications in your system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share something with you guys here. So if you look at my screen, so of course, and I'm not here to pitch you on this, but I'm telling you that we built AK Dash for the pavement management business, the industry, so that we could ultimately help people keep their customers organized, maintain the intellectual property as it relates to their clients' information that is truly, really important. Your customer lists. Your customer lists are so important in making sure that you've got that ongoing business. But I'll just skip forward to the pipeline over here. If I go to the pipeline here, I want to know that I'm surfing the wave from left to right. Let me explain. If you have leads in your systems, this is some great stuff. These are leads that are profiled and qualified. They were last modified. You've got your status as to what status they are, and I can change that. This is just a demo account, so I'm just showing you this. But what we do is we say, okay, well, if we've got our leads, we know that these are potential opportunities that we can work in our pipeline to surf the wave from left to right. As we move from left to right, the percentage of chance of conversion increases based upon each portion life cycle of your pipeline. So if I have leads that I'm communicating with and they're interested in something to do with pavement maintenance, or you've got a prospect that's an ideal candidate for the opportunity, Well, at that point, I may reach out and have a conversation. At the point that I've had a conversation and they've spiked true interest and they're answering your open-ended questions and they're communicative with you and they're showing eagerness in actually getting some pavement maintenance or management work done for them, you then move them into a sales qualified lead stage. Now they're in a sales qualified lead stage. That means you're communicating actually in a live environment with them. Once you do that, your goal is to move them to a pavement assessment or to a proposal. If I move them from sales qualified lead to a pavement assessment, I now start developing what's like a report card or a safety inspection or a medical report for their parking lot. It's not going to have pricing on the actual pavement assessment, although there is pricing here. It just won't display when you actually deliver the pavement assessment. It's really designed to be just an informational thing, telling them about the life cycle of their parking lot, safety aspects of it, and you're providing the aesthetic appearance through photos in the assessment to really help them understand a little bit more about their pavement. It's like going to see a doctor and a doctor looking at you and saying, okay, well, here are all the things that need to be done based upon blood work, all of this stuff. And then he gives you the medical report and you go, okay, great, but I need to get all this stuff done. Where do I go? And he's like, well, I'll connect the dots here. And with the doctors that do that, at that point, you start to get your quotes out from those different doctors. So again, a pavement assessment is really designed not to be price filled. Once you move from a pavement assessment, you move it to a proposal. Well, at the point that you move it to a proposal, you now have a proposal that's in their hands. That the next stage from a proposal is what? Well, we're going to either win the proposal or we're going to lose the proposal. Now, if I win the proposal, I am a super happy camper. And of course, I can issue my work orders and I can schedule the work and do all that stuff. But your pipeline integrity is super important to make sure you're disciplined on that. That's number one. You always want to be surfing the wave from left to right, moving each lead into a sales qualified lead, pavement assessment, then a proposal, then closed won or lost. Give me a thumbs up if you guys understand pipeline right here that I just showed you. Cool. You want to make sure you keep your pipelines really clean and teed up. And it's super easy. We've got help videos down on the left and everything that will literally show you. See down here, you've got your help videos here that go to a whole library teaching about all this stuff that I've done. But the pipeline being super important, that, as relating to Chad said he wants to do $400,000. Everyone here, Chad say that earlier? He wants to do $400,000. Give me a hands up if you heard Chad say 400 grand. All right, cool. Watch this. In order to achieve the $400,000, Chad needs to truly understand what his revenue roadmap is. So what do we do under administrator over here? We go to set goals and targets. Well, over here, I've pre-populated and programmed these different roadmaps. So if you want to do 350, if you want to do 500, 750 or what it is, or we can custom target it, I could just set 350 and I could adjust each one of these pricing categories to be matched with the 400,000. But let's just say that Chad decided he wanted to up it to 500,000, because I'm not going to go through all the customization right now. If you were on AK Dash, you can do all that stuff. You can customize it. You literally edit the price bracket. Let me explain. Don't pay a lot of attention to the numbers down here. Pay attention to 500. Okay. Now that I've set this in the goals and targets down here in the administrator, I now go over here to the targets under main navigation. And I now have the 500,000. It's just over 500,000 based upon that plan. The roadmap. Let me explain. The pricing category means that this is $0 to $2,500 job price bracket that we need to execute on. This is $2,500 to $5,000. This is $5,000 to $10,000 jobs. This is $10,000 to $20,000. We can customize this. I may say to Chad, dude, we want to do $1 million. I'm only going to put a price bracket in here for $85,000, and we're going to do 12 and a half of those jobs to hit the million, and we're done. In order to hit the 12.5 million, we might have to put out 50 proposals at a 25% conversion rate to hit the 12.5 jobs. That math does stand if you actually digged into that math that I just gave you. But going back to this target here, What we're saying is that Chad's average job in this price bracket is $1,250. How do we get $1,250? Well, 0 to 2,500 mid-range is $1,250. That's the average job price. Chad has to put out 60 bids at $1,250. He has to win 30% of those 60 bids to get 18 jobs out of it. We've got a preset 60% gross profit that equals a revenue of $22.5 thousand with a gross profit of 13.5K. That's his assumptive. That's his yellow brick road that we're doing up front. And then I say, okay, well, Chad, we've got a challenge here, buddy, because you've only put out 11 bids compared to the 60 and we're October. We've only put out 18% of the total bids out of the 60 that we need to get out. Only 23% of the bid progress that we're way behind. It's highlighted red here. We've only won 3 deals, but we needed to win 18. We need to make sure that we understand that this is target on the front edge of this. This is what we're shooting for. This is what the actual is. The actual is actually coming out of the data integrity of the AK- system. So every time you're putting out assessments and proposals and all of those things, it's automatically feeding this machine so that when you're on your dashboard, you can set, in Canada, we only have this number of working days left, let's just say hypothetically, because snow is going to be flying. The progress to target on our revenue for the 533K based upon what we've put out so far is 23%. So the at-a-glance dashboards will tell us, hey, we're either on track or we're not. We can go over to our targets over here to see how we're doing against our targets here. But my point is, with all of this, based upon what Chad said, we're either going to be really emotional about, I want to make 400 grand. I don't know how much profit I'm going to make. I have no clue because I don't understand my cost basis yet. And I don't have a revenue roadmap to achieve the 400. So the question, and for all of you that are not on video, if you can come on video, because it's really important that, like what I'm speaking about right now, just so you guys know straight up, it is the number one reason why businesses truly do not make money and never succeed, is because they're rolling around in the dark trying to figure this out, shooting from the hips as much as they possibly can. And what we're speaking about right now, like, is being recorded. If you guys really, really care about your business and building enterprise value, you will follow through with the stuff that I'm speaking about. I don't care if it's on AK- or Jobber or QuickBooks or wherever you're going to go. This is crucial in building a business that's going to succeed. I'm just being straight with you. Gabriel, you've got your hand up, brother. Let's roll. What's happening, buddy?
Yeah, two questions for you. Everything's good. Just getting to the end of the season,
Yes,
trying to
sir.
finish it up. Two quick questions. First of all, what are the systems? Because we're dash now, like trying it out, seeing how it works for some of the commercial proposals we're running. And I was wondering, security-wise, right? Like with client data, company data, all those kinds of things. If you could talk a bit about that.
Are you referring to your data in the platform?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all backed up, East Coast, West Coast, backbones, all secure servers. We actually have servers in Montreal, believe it or not. So not far from you, but all protected, super, super secure. And everything that you're seeing inside of your platform is your intellectual property. We don't leverage or use your data in any fashion to share, sell, or provide it with anyone that's out there in the marketplace. You're 100% secure. If you ask the same question to Zoom or to Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever you're asking the question to, I'm just saying we take a very, very serious precaution around security and anything cyber.
Yes, guys, I was just curious about that. And the second thing, so in that like pipeline, right? Like the process.
Yeah.
I understand pretty well the last parts and some of the beginning of cold calling, getting the lead. My question is more about the system where we get them first a proposal, an assessment, right?
Yeah.
And then we convert that to a quote, which makes sense, right? Like, because you ease the sale, right? You don't just show it in their face. My question is more like, what's your best way of doing the assessment? So what I mean by that is, okay, let's say we got in touch with the property manager, right? Is it better? Okay, we'll do the assessment online. We'll send someone to take pictures. We'll send it to their email. Or is it better, for example, meet the manager in person, discuss about the property, tell them about their asphalt or some of the things that are in bad condition, then send them the assessment and go from there. I was just curious about if you could go a little bit more in detail from you get the lead, you get the contact, they want to do the assessment, for example, they want to book it, whatever, to getting the assessment done and like what's the best way to do it?
So it's a great question, Gabriel. Do we have, is Danny Leotode still on here? I don't see him.
Yeah,
Oh, there
I'm
he is.
here. Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So good to see you. So just so everyone knows, Danny has gone through like intensive training with me for months and months. And so from an assessment perspective, how would you respond to Gabriel as it relates to doing an assessment on a parking lot? And what do you find to be the best solution for assessments?
You're saying like what's a rundown on what an assessment looks like?
Like the best practices around an assessment. So he's asking like, you know, do you meet, ideally, do you meet the potential property owner or manager on site when you're doing that assessment to communicate? And then what do you find best practices to deliver an assessment?
So for sure, once I make contact with the person before I've even met with them, I'll do a follow-up email stating, hey, it was really nice speaking with you. I do a confirmation because I have ran into a lot of people that are kind of not flaky, but they'll all of a sudden go out to lunch or they got to go to a job. So I'll do a confirmation email stating, hey, Mario, it was really nice speaking with you today. I'll be there at 3 p.m. next Thursday. That is right when I get off the first phone call with them. Then I show up, I do a walkthrough. I ask them what are their concerns? Have they worked with any contractors in the past? What exactly can I do to help you? And then also, if they're like, hey, I don't even know, that's why I called you, I'll say, hey, I noticed you have really bad cracking. We don't want water getting in the cracks. You could use a seal coat. When was the last time you had a seal coat? Blah blah blah. So then when I leave, I'll do a follow-up email within 24 hours stating, hey, this is what we had talked about, this is what my assessment was. As far as AK Dash goes, I mean, I've got pictures that I upload onto AK Dash. I send all of that out, what their medical report is. And for me, AK Dash took a little bit of time, but the support that I had from AK Dash was awesome. Like any questions that I had was responded to, and they'll hop on a Zoom call and explain, and then we go from there. So I hope that was helpful. And if you have any more questions, I'd be happy to answer.
So if it's okay, I just want to like confirm I understood correctly. Um, when you get a client as a lead, you make a schedule for a meeting in person. Then you're gonna confirm it like
Yeah.
a couple of days in advance, so they don't just not show up. Okay. Then you don't
Yeah.
necessarily sell them in a conversation, but you just ask questions, like question based on like what we talked about actually in the sales power stack with Judd like a week or two ago. And then, depending on how the conversation goes, you structure your assessment around their main concerns. Once they receive that medical report, then like we push for the more interest, like trying to convert that into a quote. Is that correct?
Once I've done a few of them, I'll feel out the scenario. So I'll say to them, like I had promised, I'm here to literally just tell you what I noticed with your property, and it is a free medical report. You seem very interested in getting this done. Would you like me to send you the assessment, or would you like me to just send it as a bid? I give that, I feel out each situation. I don't want to be I want to be a man of my word. So I'm out there to give them a free medical report. But instead of just always doing that, I will kind of feel out the situation and say, hey, would you like me to just send you a bid, or would you like just a medical report so you can bring it to your team and make educated decisions? So I wouldn't say 100% of the time it's only the medical report. I will when I have face to face. I would love to expedite it to a bid if I can. But I also want to be honest and say I'm here to really just show you where your property stands.
Okay, I understood. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
So
Yeah.
Gabriel, what this is called, and Dan, awesome, you nailed it. And it's like, just to be clear with everyone, there is a general playbook or a cadence that you should be following, which again creates your processes and systems so that when you bring new people into your organization, you've got your SOPs, your processes and systems that are in place, because that's scalable. If you have this, if this, do that, if this, do that. However, as part of the sales training that we do and what we teach is that you have to really be an 80% of the time listener. Speak 20% of the time, listen 80%. And let the client or opportunity literally tell you everything that they're looking for so that they can uncover what it is that your custom tailored solution is going to be for them. I'll give you an example. If you go to meet on property and you're having a conversation about doing an assessment on that lot and it's a car dealership and they don't give two shits about the actual safety on that lot, we do, of course, but if they don't care about the safety on it, of course, we'll focus on it down the line. You get my drift. But if they don't really care about the safety and they really care about their exotic car dealership having the best looking parking lot compared to any other dealership in the state, and they want to make sure that they're saving the most amount of money because they want to make sure that they make their building look like it shines like glowing glass with their Lamborghinis and Ferraris that are in there. You wouldn't have both selling in one dealer, but you get my drift again, right? Our assessment that we're going to deliver and or the proposal that we're going to give them, because they may just ask right out of the gate for a proposal. Just send me a quote. I want to get this done yesterday. What I'm getting at here, team, is the way that you communicate with a dealership is going to be very different than a school. It's going to be very different than a storage facility. And so your assessments and your proposals, the cadence in which you follow step by step is generally the same, but the way that you communicate the language should be very different for every single person that you've uncovered. Slow down to speed up so you build lifelong accounts. Otherwise, what happens is you do what everybody else, 99.9% of the people in the industry do, which is, I want to go quote it right now. I want to get the job booked on my calendar right now. And I just want to get this job done. And then they forget about the client. They never even send them a Christmas card or a happy holiday. They just leave them in the dust. And they're always acquiring new customers endlessly on that front edge. So Gabriel, that cadence that Dan just laid out is beautiful. But actually listening is the most important part of any sales conversion process.
So you mean is like you let the client, first of all, sell themselves because they tell you their problems. And number two, they show themselves to you. So you attack that basically.
I mean, if they tell you, if you ask them an open-ended question that says, what was your experience with the previous contractor that seal coated your parking lot? And if they tell you the experience, I felt like literally like we wasted our money. That's one thing. But if they respond to you, I was really happy with the actual seal coat that they applied. I was really, really happy with the way that the company provided asphalt maintenance services. Well, can you tell me a little bit more about what you're really happy about as it related to the project? Tell me a little bit more about that. What's that like? Get them to talk. It's open-ended questions. Chad, are you wanting to say something? Got it. Come off mute, brother. Let's do it. We can't hear you though. Your microphone is not working. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. While you're working on that, I think Danny, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just learned a huge valuable lesson too about like pumping out assessments. Like I did my second assessment I did this summer, and it was literally my second assessment was for a storage facility, 62,000 square foot storage facility. I didn't want to be pushy, but I did reach out to the guy twice after the assessment, about 2 weeks after, and then about 2 weeks after that, just saying, hey, Steve, I just wanted to call and ask if there's anything I can help with. to help with your decision making. I do have some slots available that now, and then I gave him 2 options for slots, and he said, "Hey, it's up in corporate." I followed up again to just say, "Hey, Steve, I'd love to help with any of your decision making." That was on June 3rd, and he called me 2 days ago to see if I could finish it. So he just so all I'm saying is, like, don't be discouraged if you don't hear back immediately. It's all a numbers game of how many assessments can you pump out.
If you want to do $2 million in revenue on your revenue roadmap, you just work backward from that revenue number and you work backwards in setting up what that plan looks like. And then you're either going to execute on the plan or you're not going to execute on the plan. And so really defining what it is that you are going to set up as a target is super crucial, that you have someone that can help you to craft that knows this really well. And then for you to believe with conviction that you can execute on the plan that's at hand. It's so important. And again, this stuff that we're speaking about right now, like, I mean, look, how many people are on here? It's 13 people. Think about that. In industry, like, I've got a prospect list and a database of 25,000 contractors in the industry. We're 13 people on here, team. We're one of the biggest influencers in the industry, and we've got 13 people pouring into themselves right now out of all of that. What does that say to you all? Like, honestly, what does that say, right? People get comfortable in the hamster wheel where they are, and they are happy making a couple $100,000 in revenue a year. And that's fine. Couple $100,000 in revenue. There's nothing wrong with that at 65%, right? That's super cool. But what if there was a way to get to $500,000 in the next 12 months for someone that actually believes in the plan and knows that they can execute on it? What if you could bump that up and you're now making $250,000 in profit versus the 125? And that's where I'm going on this, is how do we actually have the processes and systems to be able to execute on to achieve those goals? And then straight up, we look in the mirror and we say, we did the best that we could to achieve our goal, and we had the revenue roadmaps. We did our very best, and I got darn closer than what I did without all of that. So, that's what I really, from a share perspective, with our company, with AK, I'm just going to say this, without the optics that we have, the critical drivers and the KPIs and the cadences and the things that we built, without that and having our CEO literally push for all this stuff. It's not me that did it. I'm not a detail-oriented guy, but I've been taught by people that are, and I have to follow the processes and systems so that we can hit our goals. And so we don't all need to be some kind of a systems genius. We just need to be taught about some of these key spokes that are on the wheel so that we can actually achieve our goals that are beyond what they are maybe in 2024. Any questions? I know we're coming at the top of the hour here, but there's a lot of shares, I think. Have you guys got some golden nuggets? Has there been some good takeaways on this meeting? Yeah. I hope you guys can take what we're talking about and at least take one thing and apply it and give that a good shot, and if you want to explore other portions of how you can scale the things that we're talking about, we're here for you, straight up. That's what we do. It's what we love. It's what we're passionate about. Danny,
Hey, Judd, I'm back now. My phone died.
Got it. Chad, go ahead, brother.
Yeah,
Tell us.
What I was going to say to the young guy there is, you know what, when you're walking in to do a pavement assessment for a customer, always just stand there and listen what they got to tell you. Always listen. Don't say too much. Go with it. And then when you got to speak up, but make sure you know what you're talking about. That way they know that you're on the same page as them. Like, for example, I had this morning, I had a meeting at 9 o'clock. The gentleman wanted infrared. Well, the asphalt's too far gone for infrared. So it needs to be cut and patch or stick and glue, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
He had no idea that asphalt would go that far where it's no good. And I had to explain it to him, and he was all good with it. So now I'm doing a pavement assessment on his property. And I said, so what else is wrong with your property that I need to know about. And he's looking at me, he's going, you're the expert. You're supposed to tell me. I said, no, you tell me what's wrong with that. I know what's wrong with it. And like he's got a lot of potholes, the whole 9 yards. Well, here I am, going to probably end up selling $10,000 worth of repair.
Because he's
plus
telling
seal
you.
coat, plus seal coat on top, and then line
Yep.
stripe. So it's going to work
Yep.
out to be like close to a $40,000 job. And all
Let's
I've
go.
done is stood there and listened to him and
That's it.
give them suggestions.
I mean, Chad, you came to the roundup in Dundas, and you've also, I mean, you've gone through roundtable after roundtable, and at the end of the day, it's just apply what it is that you're doing. And this is why you're growing, man, is that you're actually using tactical approaches to convert these deals. I'm stoked, man.
Well,
Thank you.
And you know what? If it wasn't for you and your team and what you guys do and everybody does at Asphalt Kingdom, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. You got to listen. You have to apply. If you don't listen and apply, you're not going to go anywhere. And
Chad,
this
it's
is
why
what
I
I'm
wake up
telling.
at 4 o'clock in the morning, man, is because these stories. This is
Yeah,
what we do.
and this is why it's important to the small guys like me just buying a AK-130. You got to know what you're doing or you're not going to make it. If you understand what you're doing, you can deliver to the customer, then you're going to make it.
The number one thing that you're saying right now that is like, to me, I would write this down and I would put this on a bumper sticker. And KJ, is it KJ, CJ? Sorry, CJ, is that your name? Yeah, cool. I'm coming right to you, brother. Coming right to you. The thing that I wanted to say is this should be on a bumper sticker, I think. And it's really, it's 3 words, and it speaks to what Chad just said. It's master your craft. So if we actually have pipeline discipline, if we actually have revenue roadmaps, and if we truly master a craft and understanding what it is that we're speaking about, then the chance of you grabbing massive market share is right in front of you. Because again, the majority of people that are in business and in this industry are not doing the things that we're speaking about right now, but more so, they're not even answering their phone. Like, just test it. Like, go to a certain state, to a city, and then just Google asphalt maintenance companies, get 10 on a list in front of you and dial all 10, and tell me the number of people that actually pick up their phone in the first place.
1 to 2.
Right? And maybe if you're lucky, 1 to 2. And if they pick up the phone, are they answering the phone delightfully and energetic? And are they ready to actually communicate with you? And are they asking the right profiling and qualifying questions? Or does it sound like somebody that really just doesn't even like their job is answering the phone? Like that they just have to be there to pass time? Are you calling someone and getting a voicemail and the voicemail's not even set up, or it says it's full? Like, the point is here, if we master a craft and become great at all these spokes, as we were saying about the wheel, like, I think we have an opportunity in an industry that honestly, a lot of people, I'll tell you, like we have a forum, a group on Facebook of 22,000 members. And out of the 22,000 members, when you get a new guy on there that says, I'm interested in starting a business, you know what the majority of the people tell him not to do? They say the market's too competitive. Don't even bother. You're never going to make money doing it. And I'm sitting here going, that's just bullshit. There's more asphalt than we know what to do with. It's completely underserved with people that operate as a premier pavement management solutions business that answer their phones, that have clean pipelines, that have pavement assessments that are going out, that can speak the language properly, that can put their brands on their shirts, that put the decals and lettering on their trucks, and that can actually go out there and deliver a service to solve people's problems and over deliver on the value. And the people that do that are the guys like Alex Lucic that builds a multi-million-dollar company. It's like Jason Morales, who starts last August, doesn't own a shovel, and the guy has $50+ million in his pipeline. There's like the bottom, it's like you guys on here, right? It's like Jenny. Jenny goes and builds a beautiful business from scratch, literally had to relocate. Her story is beautiful. It's dropping on her YouTube channel. We did a great freestyle jam. Jenny, I love you. But like people who do it. And it's like team that for you guys on here right now, you show up, you're here. Let's go. The industry needs us, man. Legitimately. So CJ, you're up, and then we're gonna top this meeting off, and then we're gonna move into next week's roundtable. So CJ, what do you got?
Hey, so first off, I've been a part of a few meetings so far, just kind of listening, and it's pretty awesome seeing what happens as people's companies progress. I'm in the ground zero right now. I'm actually on my last hitch offshore. So I decided that I was away from home far too long, too much, and so I'm making that change. And my first step into this into parking lot management would be striping. So that's kind of where I'm going. I'm in South Louisiana, so a lot of concrete.
Where in
So it's
South
about
where in South
50-50.
Louisiana, bro? Where in South Louisiana?
Lafayette.
My wife's from Homa.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Been there several times.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of concrete in this area. So I was kind of thinking that striping would be a good way to kind of step into it. I was able to rent a Titan and play around with it on a small 6-stall parking lot. But just in the interest of time conservation, I'll just ask the one question real quick. I know it's kind of a different direction, but get y'all's opinion on Titan versus Graco. I do want to start off with a good machine that I can grow with.
Jenny, come off mute. Jenny, don't sabotage Titan, whatever you do.
I'm not. I was gonna say I've actually used both, and I personally own a Graco myself, but I've used both, and they both have things that are really good about them, and then there's nothing really that bad about either one of them. They both just work differently than each other. Put it that way. It's weird that they're the same machine, but they work differently. But neither one of them are bad, I would say.
Okay.
So I've been doing this for 22 years. I sell both Graco and Titan. We're the #1 dealer right below Sherwin-Williams for Titan. So we sell a lot of Titan. I love the blue. I love the red. So I love Graco. I love Titan. If you're just starting out with striping, the beast of a machine, if you have the budget and finances to do it, if not, you can get financing on it. You want to go with a Powerliner 3500S. Its pump is literally one of a kind. It's got breaker valve systems. It can literally be maintained. It's easier to run a Powerliner 3500S than any other striper in the market. If you don't have the budget for Powerliner 3500S, the Powerliner 850 is not what I would go to for commercial striping. It's a good starter, but you're going to outgrow it rapidly, which is fine. You could resell it, but it's the difference between a plastic wheels to steel rugged wheels that are going to handle any kind of vibration and bumps and divots a lot better. Your pressure on your system, just the cleaning of it. The Powerliner 850 will get you started, but if you can step up, if you're really going at this thing where I'm building this striping business, I know that in Southern Louisiana, it's underserved for sure. There's not many, by the way, asphalt maintenance and repair companies in Southern Louisiana. The market's wide open. I keep saying to my wife in Homa, like if we happen to live in Homa, we would definitely start a company. There's Love's Asphalt that's in Southern Louisiana. Christopher Love, he's in the paving world now. But other than that, I mean, you've got pretty wide open. If you're going to a Graco 3400, great unit, works fantastic. Pricing between the Graco 3400 and the Powerliner 3500, when you look at the two machines side by side, the 3500 is more rugged and robust than the 3400. The 3400 is a step up from the 850. But it's between the 850 and the Powerliner 3500. That 3500 will last you for 5 years before you really need to, do a whole lot to it.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. I rented a 3500 that was here in Lafayette, and it, as rental equipment goes, they maintain it somewhat, but not very knowledgeable about every piece they have. So I found a lot of things missing on it, but it still performed very well considering its condition. So that's kind of where my thinking was, but I figured before I pull that trigger, get the expert opinion.
Yeah, right now on the 3500, you want to call your order in, because if you order it online, you won't get this. We have a $400 cash back just because of Titan's MAP pricing policies. They won't allow us to price it 400 off that to 5366. They won't legally allow us.
Gotcha.
So you have to call in your order. And then there's also the additional features that you're getting, which is the 6 tips. And it comes with a 4-year industry warranty, which is the longest warranty. So you're covered for 4 years on it.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. And
I
then
sure appreciate all the info on that. And the next meeting, I'll be seeking some guidance on a job that someone brought to me, a potential job. Get some pointers from y'all.
just go ahead. Also, bring it up on the meeting, but if you want to just email April, APRIL at asphaltkingdom.com. She'll set up, a 30-minute or 15-minute with me, and I'll be happy to give you some advice around that. No problems.
All right, great.
Cool, brother. Also, when you place your order for the Powerliner 3500, or when you do, ask for the striping vault. We have a bunch of sales material pricing guides, all that stuff inside of our vault that we'll share with you with your purchase as well. It's a bunch of documents.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Cool. All right. We are literally past, I guess it's already past 8 o'clock. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Dylan, I saw you smiling on this meeting. You have some notes there or what?
Oh yeah, I took a lot of notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just pull the
Ready to
trigger
rock?
then.
Chad said, go for it. Let's go.
Pull
Cool.
the trigger. Let's go. Let's get this. Come on. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm 52. You look a lot younger than me.
I'm waiting on that license, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
that
worry.
license is
Don't let
coming.
that hold you back. Don't let that hold you back. Just keep going.
Dylan, I remember there was Mark Aller on that meeting that said something about that, and it's actually $1,000.
Yes, and I seen that too in the book, but when I called the CBB or CCB, they seem to have conflicted interest with it. When I wanted to double check on it, I was like, you kidding me? I want to get started now. And
They might not be trained on it. You should get that in writing from someone that actually knows what they're talking about, or speak to a
Yeah.
local
I'm glad
authority.
you touched up on it, because I called like 15 different people, the public or the business librarian, the CCB, the teacher, the insurance and bond. Nobody knew. But yeah, it
Yeah,
does say
that's
$1,000. It says 1,000 for Oregon. You're right.
Dylan. Do you know that the guy, Danny Leotoad, who was just on here, he's in Oregon?
Really?
Yeah, he's a super broker. He did all the super broker training with us. So we built out his digital presence. We trained him on the super broker. So he's the guy with the 65,000 square foot lot. But Danny is a marketing and sales company that then uses performance partners to execute on the work. So
Yeah.
there's an interesting connection potentially there. You should really connect. I'll give you I'll send you his number. Actually, do you use WhatsApp?
No.
No. All right. Send me an email and just say, get me Danny's information, and I'll send you over Danny's information.
All right,
You're
buddy.
welcome, CJ.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. All right, everyone. Joseph, good meeting. You got some good takeaways? You happy with it?
Yes, sir. It's been really good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Mr.
Hello
Malone, good.
Hello to everyone from Alabama.
I love Alabama. Right next door, right to
Yes.
to Louisiana, right there. Yeah, not far, man.
Hello
Yeah.
to everybody from Canada.
Hello to everybody from Central America. I'm in Panama right now.
Oh,
Crazy.
must be nice, Judd. Must be nice.
Little
Hello
Gulf,
from
little
Northwest
golfing.
Florida. Probably the
Northwest
only
Florida.
part of Florida that's okay right now, but hello from the Northwest little
There you
corner.
go.
Dylan Malone, by the way, who's on here. You can see Dylan Malone. Say what's up, Dylan.
What's up, people?
Hey,
Dylan Malone's a superstar, man. He does all our AK Dash demos and helps people solve their problems. He finds solutions. He's an awesome young man that's really, really building a great future for himself. And just couldn't be more grateful to have you on the team, Dylan. You're a superstar, bud. We appreciate you.
hey, Judd, can you hook me up with the AK Dash for free trial for a month? Because I haven't did that yet.
Dylan can definitely connect the dots for you, Chad, and get you on a
All right.
demo so that you're on there. You're going to need that with your revenue roadmaps and your pipelines. Like if you're wanting to do that 400, we got to set this thing up properly for you. Yep.
Well, I want to do more than 400, but that's my
Let's set it
ballpark
up.
right now.
Let's set it up. All right,
Keeping
everyone.
Keeping Care 2023 at outlook.com is my email.
I
We've
will
got-
reach out to you tomorrow.
Okay,
We've
thank you,
got all
buddy.
your info, Chad. We've got all your info. I know where you live, buddy.
Yeah, we're dialing in then.
All right, everyone. I'm gonna go and enjoy some family time and cook some. I'm actually cooking a tri-tip on the barbecue right now, so I'm gonna go eat some good
Atta
steak
boy.
and finish strong. Thank you, everyone, for coming on the roundtable tonight. I've really enjoyed it here. I'm really looking forward to next week again. It's going to be at the same time, same place, right here on the AK Roundtable. We'll see you guys all next week. Thanks for coming.
All right.
See ya.
Take care.